Hi, Biohack here, and this is episode 2 of BDO Science, the series where I test the game mechanics of Black Desert using the scientific method to answer some of players' most popular questions. Today we're going to look at human damage versus AP and decide whether or not one of them is better than the other, or whether or not human damage really is just human-specific AP, or whether there's something functionally different about the two. Since so many of you wanted a summary last time, I'll go ahead and give it to you right here at the beginning. Human damage is not as good as AP, even when attacking human targets. It seems as if there is a scaling factor, and that AP is about 25% better than human damage, at least when using the Valkyrie Lancia skill Purificatione. Now, I don't know whether that applies to all skills and all types of attacks. It may depend on exactly how the damage formula is calculated, but we can say that human damage is not as good as AP. Now, I imagine the viewer count is going to drop dramatically after this point, but for those of you who actually care about how this was tested, I'll go ahead and walk you through how we did it. So essentially, I did a very similar test to what I did in the first episode of BDO Science, where we took off all of our gear. This time I used a Kriya longsword because I was a little derpy and used an Elsh longsword without noticing that it had human species damage on it last time, which may have partly explained, but not fully explained, why the main hand weapon did not give the complete 50% AP of expected. Anyway, today we used a Kriya longsword. And I did the exact same thing where I gradually scaled up my AP, this time using Barris accessories because I can match them in a 1-to-1 ratio with Uria earrings, which, as you'll notice, apply additional damage to humans. We did 15 attacks at every single data point, starting from 0 and then moving up to 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 16. 15 attacks at each one of those points for both Barry's accessories with human damage, or Barry's accessories or Uria accessories with human damage. And so I'm going to pull up the plot here. And this is what we get. As you can see, there's quite a bit of overlap in between these two numbers. And at very low values, this is actually not a statistically significant difference between the AP and the human damage. However, as we start to scale, we quickly notice that the AP is increasing at a higher rate than the human damage would. So you look down at the equations right here, we get about 1.26 damage per AP and about 1.05 damage per human damage equivalent. If the standard deviations are what you're seeing on the error bars here, and they are overlapping. However, this is still a statistically significant result. If we look at this one here, with a p-value of 0.01, meaning there's something translating to about a 1% chance that this is just an artifact, and we got lucky and the human damage did more. So this means I'm very confident that human damage is not actually as good as AP, and it's not just the same thing as human-specific AP. So please take that into consideration when you're doing your gearing. If I can get a Dandelion Lancia +0, I want to do some testing directly with the different kinds of awakening weapons and looking at how the scaling works for that. I would also like to look at whether or not the human damage is scaled by the same factor we saw for the main hand damage with AP in the last video. So if you're interested in that kind of content, hopefully we'll have something coming like that relatively soon, although February is going to be a very busy month for me. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You can also check me out on Twitch, and I'll put a link down to that as well as my Twitter if you want to keep updated with what's going on. I'm also going to do a doodle poll to see kind of what you guys are interested in testing next. So go ahead if that appeals to you, and this has not been out for like 6 months by the time you watch this video, go ahead and participate in that poll and let me know what you'd like to see. Thanks.